1 3/4.
And we're back once again, only on its Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol, only on the lastcallpodcast.com. And join me here on location once again. Well, we got some wrestling. We got 2 PLEs this weekend. So after you had your Thanksgiving turkey, after you had all the sides with stuffing and maybe some alcoholic beverages, you can dive into the wrestling pay-per-view. And I got to bring some heavy hitters on. So I got a Canadian, 2 Americans. They're going to battle out on the cards. I give you first off from the Wrestling Ropes live stream on Twitter. I give you DJ and Mr. Ropes and our friend, our compatriot, and the only guy who can make me watch a full friggin' AEW card and not lose my patience. I give you from Pro Wrestle Times. I give you it's Phil Marks. So, gentlemen, let's start off here. We got 2 PLEs. How happy are you get some TNA and some SmackDown on Friday? And it's like, oh, we still have more. We can go to Saturday in the Survivor Series.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm excited for War Games. I want to see how the women's War Games comes out and how does the Bloodline story is the most interesting story in wrestling. So it's got my eyes and attention, and I want to see what Paul Lee does.
Same here. I'm looking forward to the War Games match. See the drama that it develops after, and the whole thing with CM Punk.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Bloodline versus Floodline is what I'm looking forward to. I see you have the TNA card pulled up, though. What is this again? Turning Point?
So it's TNA Turning Point. We're not going to go over the full card. We're going to go over a couple matches here because, I know that most people here, they came for Thanksgiving feast, which is Survivor Series. We're going to tease a little more so TNA because they deserve some love. So let's start with the match that I know that Phil is definitely interested in. 2 out of 3 falls. Masha Slamovich, Jordynne Grace. Phil, you've been on the Jordynne Grace WWE bandwagon since all the way back last January. You've been calling it, so congratulations to you. What should we expect from this match? And how big is it for TNA to start? Okay, well, we're losing Jordynne. We know that it's the worst kept secret pro wrestling. So let's start, building up Masha and make her look good while we give Jordynne her flowers on the way out.
So what I think is basically what you just said there, man. It's Jordynne just doing jobs and then them building Masha as like that girl who's going to lead the knockouts. She's the lethal woman. She put her TNA title randomly on the line there at GCW. She's their new like lethal weapon, if you will, was the terminology I was looking for there. And don't be shocked too, Killer Kelly, PWT alum, who's been on the show. Yeah, she Killer Kelly might come back too. Her horror movie dropped. She just had her baby, and she's already in the gym. And hey, man, Masha versus Kelly for that TNA Knockouts title, man, I'm here for that. But I know I'm always getting ahead of myself. This match, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, it's exactly as you said, Chris. Jordynne is just laying down for everyone on the way out, and she is NXT bound for sure. Maybe even main roster bound. I could see her showing up at the Rumble, just going straight to the main roster too. But yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with most of what Phil said. These are the 2 best female workers they have on the roster, and in my opinion, some 2 of the best female workers around. So I know they're going to make this a good match. I'm kind of excited because it's one of the first TNA pay-per-views I've watched in years, or plan on watching in years. So I'm hoping this is one of the matches that's got me interested. Another match is kind of Nick Nemeth versus Eddie Edwards.
Oh yeah.
Nick Nemeth wrestling is always a fucking draw for me. I think he's always been extremely underrated, and I'm finally glad he's getting the world title reign that he's always deserved. And yeah, I think this is going to be one of the better women's matches people have seen.
I don't watch a lot of TNA, but now looking at this card, it has me interested in actually getting to see some of the people that are here, some of those that I'm familiar, and some that this year I have come to familiarize myself with, like Joe Henry and Jordynne Grace.
I'm looking at the 6-man tag match for Hardy's, Ace Austin versus Rascals, Kushida. It's going to be a Hardy's kind of match, but on a side note, we've both talked about the Hardy's looked like hell in AEW. They were terrible. And now in TNA, it's almost like they've gotten a fresh new coat of life. They look good. Phil, you've seen both of these iterations. So what changed? What made us go from, oh, please retire Hardys? You got to leave it when we are AEW to now TNA. It's like, the love is back. We can't get enough of them. They are back. And all of a sudden we're going, yes, more Hardys, please.
I think because, myriad reasons here. So you got the fact that I think Jeff is actually really staying clean, even though he's off singing in the forest. He's like out there like in a garden, tiptoe through the tulips, and like this guy's. I know he's weird. He's out there singing weird songs, doing weird shows. I think he's just revitalized. He looks like he's in better shape than he was in AEW. I think there's a pathway to WWE again, so fans are like, okay, let's see it. We'd love to see that again in some form or fashion, even if it's just like a Good Brothers NXT type run, which they're open to doing as well. Obviously, Jeff, not going to say he burnt a bridge, but, that was recent, his mess up in WWE. However, Triple H is known to mend those fences and repair those burnt bridges, rather. So, I could totally see them doing that. And this TNA crossover thing is sort of an avenue there. There's a nostalgia factor. I think there's a creativity factor as well. Like if you look at that TLC match or whatever you want to call it, that the Hardys just had at the last pay-per-view, Jeff Hardy did all the paint and all of that. And I'm not talking about giving people free reign creative control, but in AEW, it's like not even a matter of creative control with the Hardys. Tony Khan just signed them up, as a nostalgia act, but he didn't really book them like that. So I think just TNA's booking them correctly. They know what to do with them. Sticking them with Austin is great as well. And like pray for Bay. I'll say that. Everyone check out his GoFundMe or whatever. The Rascals, and they're with Kushida, so that's awesome, giving Kushida the rub. And I just think, to answer your question, it's a few things, and it's the things I mentioned, the main one being there's a pathway to WWE again, and I think that gets fans excited.
So I'm from the aspect and the mindset of like, maybe it's just because I haven't seen much of the TNA run, but I'm just personally tired of seeing the Hardys now at this point. You know what I mean? They put too much damage onto their bodies. Like what I want to see the Hardys do, they can't do no more. Like if they're working a different style to where it's more safer and it works better with their old age, I'm willing to give it a chance before I sit here and flat out say, I don't like it. Fuck the Hardys. But the AEW run for me just left too bad of a taste in my mouth. And I think that what the real difference is now in TNA is they have producers that they'll listen to. They have guys sitting there telling them, all right, this is what you should do. No, you can't do this. Jeff, no leg drops off of any fucking ladders without our say so, and we okay everything. And like I said, they're just they're in a more structured setting now to where, again, AEW always has that constant feeling of the inmates running the fucking asylum. And everyone's just going to do whatever they want. They want every match to be 5 stars. So they're going to do every trick they know in the fucking book to get every pop they know how to get. And I think that might be the real difference. What we're seeing with the Hardys maybe in this new TNA run they're having is that they're being produced. They're not falling into their worst instincts. And they're trying to have the safest match that they can put on to where they're not trying to just have a 5-star match.
Do you remember when the Hardys got that huge pop at one WrestleMania? Their last WrestleMania, I believe.
33, it was right after they had that the Expedition of Gold, Matt Hardy's Expedition of Gold, where they won like all the indie world tag titles.
And then they showed up and won the Raw
world tag titles. They even beat the Bucks for tag titles like the night before.
Right. The finish to that story was amazing. Yeah, that was incredible.
I think that's when they peaked. I think that's when they were their all time, as as they're coming up in age. But then once they went to AEW, it just wasn't the same. And now I think they should just be almost on their way out, and eventually just finish their careers, not in a full-time aspect in WWE, but just nostalgia, come back, a match, and call it a day, and then have some sort of Legends deal where you come in like Bully Ray comes in sometimes, something like that. At this point, they have a lot of miles on that body. If anybody has miles on that body, it's the Hardys, especially Jeff.
It's
But I'm
not
glad
even
that he's
miles. They got dings and nicks and shit. Matt Hardy literally walks around half the fucking time like he's a penguin.
Yeah.
That's
He's
not
damaged his
appealing to
hips and
see.
his.
It's not appealing to see. That's not the
Mhm.
Matt Hardy I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate their contribution and their ability to still want to do this,
Yeah.
but I hope that they eventually call it quits and go enjoy their lives because they've
Yeah,
been
I
around forever.
I agree with you, man, and we need that Legends deal. We need them in the 2K video games. Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. Come on, everyone. Hall of Fame. No, I'm just kidding. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
we
they,
need them
they,
in
they
the Hall
definitely
of Fame.
deserve to be
We
Hall
need
of
the
Fame.
videos. Yeah, we need one more match. I'll see one more match with those guys, like against Edge and Christian or something. That'd be cool because hopefully, I think those guys' time is up in AEW around the same time. But I don't know. We're getting ahead of ourselves now.
Speaking of ahead, let's go to the TNA X Division Championship. I'm going to put you guys in the promoter's hat because right now they've done a throwback. Usually we've seen like the X Division, it was like Mustafa Ali who killed it. We saw Mike Bailey. Before that, it was Frankie Kazarian, Ace Austin. Now it's a 6'5", 280-pound Moose who
Hell yeah.
he's the one guy at TNA can look and go, okay, he's the franchise guy. He looks the part. He is the guy that could probably walk up and beat the crap out of anybody. How do you book him? Because he's not a cruiserweight, so we know that. So what do you do if as he's now the champ, he's taking a Laredo kid who has no real English speaking language. How do you book him going forward as the X Division champion? How would you do it? I want to hear all three of you guys' opinion.
Yeah, you go ahead, DJ.
Well, how I would book him is it's plain and simple. I'd give him the Roman put. With guys like him, Bobby Lashley, currently in AEW, those are guys I can build my division around. I need a monster tearing up the division to help build up that division. Yeah, it's going to quote unquote, bury them at first. But when one of them finally does take down the big monster, they're going to be a brand new star. And everyone's going to want to take him out. It's about trying to take it. The thing about title pictures and the champion picture, you should always make it to so he's always got a target on his fucking back. Everyone wants a piece of him. Everybody wants that. To where
Moose. Oh, sorry.
No,
I was just gonna say
no.
Moose had that monster run recently though, and then he dropped the world, and now he's down to X division. So you could realistically do the same thing what you're saying in the X division against the Laredo kids and that sort of thing. And then I could see some people saying, "Oh, it's a little played out," but it makes sense to do with Moose. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to note that, I agree. You could do the same thing essentially what they just did with him in the system. You just do it where he's the X division champ. It works for a while till you have someone conquer him. But yeah,
where I was going with it, yeah, pretty much where I was going with it, just keep him dominant to where, and especially when the X division isn't really bigger guys like him dominating it. It's something new, so it's gonna be like, how the fuck are all these little guys gonna deal with this big monster? And then you get the one little guy who's got has the perfect technique or something, like a Zack Sabre. I'm not saying specifically Zack Sabre, but someone of that skill set. You know what I mean? Someone who can take down the monster with his technical abilities and outsmart him to where brains can beat the brawn.
I don't like how they hot potato this belt around though, dude. Mustafa Ali, he did that undefeated run all over the place, drops the belt to Bailey. I get Bailey's time's up with the company, but he dropped the belt in the Ultimate X, and then he wins it back, and then it's like Laredo kids or Moose has got it, and then and then it's like, who's the next guy to get it? I don't know. I'd let Moose run with it for a while. But yeah, I don't know. Ropes.
I
What
just
about
personally
you,
feel like in wrestling we should stop being used to the short title reigns and get back to being used to the long ones. You know what I mean? If we're going to give a guy the belt, we should give him the belt and know he's going to run with it for at least 8 months minimum. You know what I mean? I don't like 3 months or 6-month title reigns and then change, because it's not really that much time to tell a really good championship level story or help get a guy really over with that belt.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start with this one with a question of my own. How over was he when he was the champion, the TNA champion?
He was a good heel, and it really helped get like Hendry and Nemeth over more during his run. You know, like it really solidified them both as like baby faces as well. You know.
So then, ho- what made them put him in the TNA division? I mean, especially because of his size.
Because
Big D. Yeah.
here's I mean here they've done it before. We forget like Samoa Joe was the X Division
Right.
champion,
I was
and
just gonna say that.
yeah. So I get what they're trying to do. It's like okay, they don't want to just put the belt on him right away again because there's Nick Nemeth and then Joe Hendry, Mike Santana, Vero's trio. You want to keep moves fresh. He can talk. There's nobody in the cruiserweight division right now who can. They have the young kids or luchadors. So
Yeah.
Ropes,
But
I
then,
get. I mean, so I guess my question to you, Ropes, is should there be like 3-4 minute matches with Moose and he just goes in, bullies, slaps people around, humiliates them, and it builds sort of that story of all right, well, this is a guy who's out of control and it's going to take the full cruiserweight division to get rid of him.
well, instead of going that route, which we've seen multiple times, big guys just come and demolish everybody, why not focus him on a different story, like a tag team story? You still book him as a big guy, a heel, and impressive, but instead of focusing on him just beating everybody, why not put him in a team and focus him on a story instead than
Yeah.
just beating everybody, because he already went to the top. So why
Yeah.
not make it seem like a side quest for him now? Like, you know what? I haven't done that. Why I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Since I've
That's a
been at
good
the
idea.
top and I come down here and I can do that, or I don't need the title. But instead of focusing on titles and killing everybody, then just do story based lines.
Because that's something you would do when you're at the tail end of your career and you still want to be over in some way, shape, or form. Like Moose is still over and Moose is still at the apex of his career and is in great
Yeah.
physical shape. You don't put him in no tag team feud when a guy looks like that, especially in this age of tag teams. We don't have the Road Warriors no more. Tag teams aren't really big guys like that.
Yeah, I see
So
both sides of it actually.
he
You know, I
would
do.
stick out like a sore thumb in some type of tag team division because it would be blatantly obvious he should be dominant by himself against these tag teams.
I get that. My problem is today that when I see tag teams, I don't feel the appeal to be that big of a fan. So if you put a guy like that, not forever, but for some time, then I'll see the appeal of looking at tag teams and making it look like maybe I want to care. Like I know what you're saying. He doesn't belong in a tag team for long, but maybe I want to see that for some time.
And they've done that in a sense. I mean, but when he's the head of the stable, which is the system, and it's Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers who have a tag team. Alicia Edwards, the arrogant, crap talking,
Yeah.
small, tiny female manager / wrestler. He's the guy that's basically the leader. So I get why not. But
Him and Johnny Curtis, though, Chris. Him and Johnny Curtis. And
yeah,
then
but Johnny
that way,
Curtis is more like a stooge, Joe. He's
I know,
basically sort
but
of
that's
like
why it'd be funny. He could
Carlito.
just bump around and then Moose come in and get the win, you know? I don't know, I could see it. But and then especially because that could be how the system breaks up because you had Edwards and Myers, I believe, who were like teaming before. And yeah, I don't know, it makes sense. I can see both sides.
Well, we're going to run down the rest of the card. Then ask for some quick prediction on one match here. We get Nick Nemeth, Eddie Edwards for the TNA World Championship. You got Frankie Kazarian, Mike Santana, Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin in a no disqualification match. We mentioned Zaya Brookside, Rosemary versus Amanda Evans in a 3-way match. And the final pick here, Joe Hendry versus PCO versus Brian Myers versus Hammerstone versus Eric Young versus John Schuyler. It's a 6-way Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl match. That's right. Whoever
Every
gets
year.
pinned or submitted has to wear a
Oh,
turkey
boy.
suit. So, all right, who do you guys want to see, and who do you think we'll see in the turkey suit?
Well, I can give some. I'll give my quick picks here, I guess, really quick. I'm gonna go Rosemary. I'm gonna go Mike Santana beats Kazarian, and that's the guy who eventually beats Moose for that X Division title. I'm gonna go Macklin gets his, and then and I'm surprised they're going with that match again. But who's gonna wear the turkey suit this year? God, it can't be Joe Hendry. you just put it on PCO. No, did they do that yet already, Chris?
They have not ever put it on PCO. No,
That's the guy. Then you put it on PCO because it's funny. Yeah, that's the only reason. There you go.
DJ, who do you think ends up walking out dressed as a turkey, and who should be dressed as a turkey afterwards?
So I would do it. My personal preference, I would do it to Joe Hendry, just because I think Joe Hendry would find a way to get it over, and it would not be embarrassing to him. But if the whole point of the match is to try and embarrass someone, Brian Myers is the perfect guy to do it. His career was built on that in WWE. We could do it for the one time, just for a callback's sake. It's Thanksgiving, and that's the only person I see who who doesn't get damaged by any of this. Joe Hendry's a top guy. Alexander Hammerstone probably doesn't even fit in the fucking suit. Eric Young is like God in TNA.
Who the fuck is John Schuyler?
I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, I don't even know who that guy is.
Or it could be the Jobber, because nobody knows who the fuck that is.
Well, then the match is a little meaningless if you do John Schuyler. Even though
he'll get a Wikipedia page after that one. He'll finally get his own Wikipedia. You know what I mean?
Probably.
Well, we're going to move on to the main course. That's what everybody came here for. We had the side dish, and once again, you can check out. It'll be TNA Turning Point, November 29th. It's in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You can see it on the TNA app on Friday. Check your time local. Listen for details. We got Survivor Series.
Downloading the TNA app on my phone right now.
So you guys wanted it. I've heard people say, we need more matches. 3 matches isn't enough. We don't want 8 matches or 12 matches like AEW does, but we're getting 5 matches, 3 singles, 2 war games. Is everybody happy now? Is this like the happy medium that we're getting for Survivor Series?
Chris, I only asked for one more match. You're acting like I asked for fucking smorgasbord, okay? We got killed the other night while watching Full Gear, watching 27 fucking matches for 5 hours.
Oh, it was brutal.
Okay, it was fucking hell. Trust me, it was super brutal. Chris knows. But I'm glad, like I said, 5 matches here is perfect.
Tasty,
You know what I mean? They're all the championship matches, and then the Bloodline War Games. The women's War Games, I'm not really looking forward to because they kind of rushed it together. But it'll probably be a good match because all the women are good, and then there's the fridge.
Care to explain to Phil about what a fridge is?
He'll go later into it because we will dig deep into this, and we will get DJ's full rant on how badly he hates this person. So I'll start out.
Here's what I'll say about the 5 matches. I think it is enough in this pay-per-view because you have the war games, and that can go long. So it's not like a one-on-one on those 1 and 3 matches. So for this one, 5 is okay. Now, if you were talking about, I don't know, a SummerSlam car, then 5 matches would not do it for me.
I just think it always looks weird when there's a singles match in the double ring setup. I think it just looks weird. I don't know. It might just be me and my personal thing. But it always looks weird when there's always a singles match and there's 2 rings.
It's true. It's true.
I like the 5 matches. I like the shorter cards. It's not that the matches won't be plentiful, but you need a lot of time for those war games. I agree with the women's war games as well. Why not just do a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series with them?
That's what I thought it was initially.
Yeah, they should bring that back because it's like, did we need a war games? If you're just going to throw the teams together and there's no real heat there, just don't do a war games. Maybe one year there's no real heat between the men and women enough to justify a war games, but always have that war games in your back pocket for a Survivor Series. Maybe one year just the women get a war games because the heat's there. Maybe the heat's there that both men and women get war games, man. I'm all for it. And I'm all for like a men's and women's rumble and all of these sorts of things. However, when it comes to the war games, I feel like, damn, dude, it should just be for that real, like the women shouldn't have, they shouldn't have one just because. So I'm not fully into that, but I mean, Breaker, Sheamus, Kaiser as well. That's sort of a sleeper match. I think that will cook pretty hard. I love Shinsuke. You're never gonna get me to hate on LA Knight, yeah, or Shinsuke. So whoever wins, I'm cool with. I think LA pulls that off. Not to jump ahead or all over the place, but I'm just looking at the 5 matches, and I'm like, dude, star-studded, star-studded. That Braun match, I mean, he's becoming a star. That'll be a banger, you know. So I'm here for it. And then, dude, the Bloodline Floodline is worth the whole event alone. They could just have that match for 3 hours and I'd be happy, because I'm sure some crazy shit's going to happen. I wouldn't be shocked if we see the Rockers. I'm sure you're going to get to all that, but I don't know. I'm looking at this card. I go, perfect. I don't need no more. I don't need no less, you know?
So let's start with the weakest match of a night. It's LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura.
The weakest? Come on now, Chris. That's not very fair.
There's no build. It's just, okay, Shinsuke Nakamura, after, I guess, surfing and cornering a bunch of UFC fighters that he liked, decide, all right, I'm going to show back up. And
now he's an Inuyasha character. And he's like wearing face paint, kicking dudes. I'm down, Chris. Don't you dare hate on this match. It's going to cook. 2 legends, 2 vets right here. And with everybody saying LA Knight's going to win, but Shadow Nakamura. Yeah.
You're going to hate me.
What's up, Ropes?
Phil hates me also, so Ropes, go ahead. Don't worry about it.
I'm a lover.
Look,
listen, I needed you here, Phil. Chris usually fucking terrorizes me, so we're good.
I got you, bro.
My disclaimer first, I have nothing against Nakamura. I like the guy. My problem with Nakamura is how he's booked. They start him, they do something with him, disappears, and does it again. And then for LA Knight, yes, he needed somebody. If you would have told me that, I don't know, 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago, they started a program or something, okay, no problem. Chisky belongs here. But then he shows up, kicks this guy, here's a title shot. No
yeah, you're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? I think that LA Knight had more story with Carmelo than he does with Nakamura. So, and I still don't like Carmelo in this car, but at least it will make sense because they've been at it for a while.
So I think they're just giving Nakamura to LA Knight only because everyone's been bitching about LA Knight doesn't have any viable fucking challengers, and then they give him a viable fucking challenger, and you guys are bitching about his story.
Well, how is that a viable challenger?
We need to start being
he just showed up.
What the fuck we want with LA Knight. First, we want a story. They give you kind of a bumfuck story. And then we're like, no, he needs a viable competitor. And then he's like, okay, we're going to hand you a former world champion, former IC champion, former Royal Rumble winner. Yeah. No, there's no fucking story. What the fuck is this shit? It's going to be a good match, unlike the last one. The last one wasn't a good match. This is going to be a good match. This is, my opinion, is going to be what AJ Styles and Nakamura should have had 2 years ago.
Do you guys want to hear some alleged hot news that Husey allegedly told me on my show? Allegedly.
Sure. We always love hot news. So, breaking news is always great.
Yeah, this could be real or it could be not. It could be allegedly.
I love to hear what's on the PWT timeline, okay?
So Husey comes on the show allegedly, and he allegedly says that no, Nakamura is either on his way out or may have renegotiated his deal and is there again for like less money possibly, but Husey thought he was gone or is about to be gone. Now he may or may have not heard stuff. I don't know if you know who he works with, etc. So
I can see Nakamura being on the way out, and this could be his final job on the way out.
Because a lot of these guys were getting like Vince money, quote unquote, and now the WWE's looking at them and they're like, not that, you know, Triple H is hating on anybody, but do they really need Bobby Lashley right now? Do they really
No,
need
if anything,
Miz?
Triple H is a pro Nakamura guy.
Exactly. But and Nakamura loves being in the WWE by all accounts. So I think he'd be willing to, he's made really good money for the last handful of years. So I think he'd be cool to just like take a bit of a cut and vibe. I can see it going
either way. Because I can see this being, okay, I'm about to start contributing now because I want that renegotiation on that contract and I want to be here and I want to wrestle at least for the last few years that I got left in the tank. Or I could also see it being, all right, this is me trying to, you know, do my final job on the way out, get this guy LA Knight over.
Or one of like a handful of jobs, possibly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, we don't know. But that's what I'm saying about Alexa Bliss too. Like people, she likes some tweet. It's not up to me when I come back. I'm not saying like they're not going to bring Alexa Bliss back, but there's some of these names like The Miz comes to mind. He's making really great money. Does he take a pay cut? Like, do they need The Miz, or is the WWE bigger than The Miz right now? It's bigger than pretty
No,
much
the Miz,
everyone.
in terms of marketing and going out and doing publicity and stuff for them and all the time, he's
Yeah.
definitely worth the contract they're paying him for that
Sure,
alone.
but I mean, some people might argue like, hey, we got a fucking, we got a Trick Williams coming or whatever. I'm not saying the Miz specifically. Again, I'm just throwing a name out there who's like a vet who's probably getting paid a lot, and he's kind of in the undercard. I mean, you look at a Nakamura, maybe he's just popping up doing these jobs, and he's just happy to do it, and they're paying him a good amount, and he's like, hey, I'll just chill here and do that. Or maybe it's a part of, hey, man, we want you to come back and you're just going to put people over, I guess, on the way out, or who knows? But
I can see
don't know.
more
That's
of a
what Husey
use
said.
for a guy
I
like the
didn't say
Miz,
that.
though. I can see more of a use for a guy like the Miz, though, than Nakamura, because again, Miz
Yeah.
does all this publicity stuff. He knows how to
Right.
market himself and market the brand. There's no bigger ambassador to WWE than the Miz. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he's one of those bigger ambassador types where Nakamura has only been the not online, but on TV present star, to where he doesn't really contribute much outside of that. They brought him in really to try to get their foot into Japan. That's why they
Except for when him and Ray are at Power Slap together. Yeah. It's great crossover marketing.
We got to move on. So let's go to the second, let's say, the second match after that, which I'm rating in terms of importance and what I'm expecting. Gunther versus Damian Priest. So we'll start with you, Ropes.
Oh,
here.
the disrespect.
I'm putting it there because there's going to be shenanigans. You can't have Damian Priest lose cleanly, twice to Gunther. You don't want Gunther for dropping the title. Who should we see, Ropes? Because I've heard theories of, Finn Balor will get involved, Drew McIntyre, Goldberg. What should we expect for a World Championship match where it's like, okay, we know Gunther's going to retain. We're waiting for who screws the pooch or who comes and hurts Damian Priest.
This match is going to be the opposite of LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura. And what I mean by that, well, Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight, no build-up. Gunter and Damian Priest, great build-up. But what's going to happen? I probably will be disappointed with the outcome. But it depends on how it goes. I would prefer to see Damian Priest as a champion, but most likely that's not going to happen. I think there's going to be some interference in here. Damian cannot go down clean after this huge build-up, making Gunter his bitch for the last few weeks. So I prefer Damian to win it, but I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, Phil, we'll go with you. Who's going to be, who are the, as you said, it's like Clue, is it Mr. Plum in the kitchen with the pipe? Is it Miss, is it the maid with the candlestick? Is it the priest with, the steel chair? Who's it going to be? Goldberg, Finn Balor, or do we get a returning Drew McIntyre to screw Damian Priest?
Ooh, I like that. Speaking of Power Slap, I'd like to see Gunther in one of those. Here's the thing. I like what you're laying out there. I didn't even think about Drew. It should be about that time since Punk came back. We do need Drew to come back. Also, if you think about it, they're sort of positioning Gunther as a tweener towards more babyface as well. If you kind of his interactions with Ludwig and his last stuff with Cody there, I get it. He's still trashing on Damian, but Damian's still kind of a tweener as well. I know he's going full on babyface right now and trying to be like one of the people and stuff. I get it, but after all the dastardly deeds he did, really him getting kicked out of the Judgment Day was just his comeuppance. So until there's a little more retribution, a little more redemption there, I think these are two tweeners right now, in my opinion, or at least they lean more center, I guess we'll say that. So I would love to see Drew come back and mess everything up. Obviously Goldberg's coming back. I think they save that for Mania though, and they give him like a lot of time because he's talked about it. He needs a lot of time to get in ring shape. So I don't think we see Goldberg for a minute. I would love for it to be Drew, but then if Drew doesn't get that strap off of Gunther, I don't know, man. You can only do so much with Drew where until it's like, okay, now you have to just give him the belt and like let him have his fucking belt for a little while. So I don't know if it'll even be that. I don't know if it'll be Finn or anything like that. It could just be a clean one, and then maybe Ludwig pisses Gunther off by getting involved and losing the IC title in one night to where, Gunther the next night on Raw is like, I banish you, and fucking chops him into oblivion or something. Who knows? I don't know. I'm just fantasy mark booking, making shit up as I go. But yeah, I'm going to say Gunther pulls it out.
I don't know. Hearing your guys' thought and the shit with Drew kind of has me changing my mind. It's kind of obvious it's going to be a Finn Balor fucking up Damian Priest. That's why they're like making Damian Priest look so strong. So when Finn finally fucks him over, it's going to be a big enough issue because now everybody's going to be like, you really pissed that guy off. You better fucking run. Like I said, I don't see anyone beating Gunther until at least Mania. I don't like he's gonna have a semi-decent run with this. He's not gonna have a year-long reign or 2-year-long reign like he did with the IC title. But I think he's gonna hold this thing until Mania. Because I don't see any logical reasons to take it off of him. But I think this is gonna be one of the better matches on the card. Their first match was pretty good. Other than Finn, turning on him. And not saying that wasn't good, but there wasn't a declarative finish to that match. I think this match is going to have more of a declarative finish, but Finn's going to fuck Damian Priest again.
Well, we go to I'd say the last final single, I guess, non-War Games match. And that's Braun Breaker, Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser. This feels like the one match where it's like you can't screw this up. In theory.
It's going to be a banger.
So who wins and who should win? Because there's a lot of people who are going, you know what? Ludwig Kaiser is a better heel than Gunther. He plays the arrogant, a-hole. He knows, his role. He's conniving. He's sort of, as you call it, chicken shit when he needs to. Do they give him a title or do you keep Braun Breaker cooking because he is the franchise going forward? He is the money. We'll start with you, DeeJay, since I know you're looking going, okay, they can't screw this match up.
So I don't think Sheamus getting it. That's automatically out the realm of reality. He's there to take the pin. But I don't see them taking it off of Braun again. I think they only took it off of him in the first place because it helped build Jey Uso up for the Bloodline story. And that was the only reason he lost the belt in the first place. So him getting it back, that issue was settled. And I think he's going to have a better reign than he did the first time. Him beating two guys is just going to establish him more. But if Kaiser did win the belt and Gunther does retain, it would mean so much for both of them. It would get both of them over, like, even more. So, I don't know. Like I said, the obvious pick is Braun Breaker because he shouldn't lose. So unless Kaiser gets the pin on Sheamus, Braun ain't losing.
Phil, what do you think? Because I know that Phil's been going okay.
This is what I'm thinking right here. I'm thinking that obviously Breaker's got to leave with the title. I'm thinking that Kaiser takes the pin so that we can get Sheamus and Breaker properly spurned off of it, and it's Ludwig getting pinned is going to lead more into Gunther and his like eventual separation to where I think Ludwig like attacks Gunther eventually, and we see like Ludwig maybe even challenge Gunther for that belt, obviously lose, but I'm again fantasy mark booking way ahead. But to me, yeah, Breaker's got to walk away with the belt. I think it'll be a banger after banger after banger, and I think we need Sheamus Breaker proper after this. Because their match got interrupted, and I love Sheamus's role as like, hey, if you're in contention for the IC title or you have the IC title, he's coming for you, lad. Because he just wants that last accolade on his resume. It makes sense in like a sports way, pro wrestling storyline way. It makes sense on so many levels. So I love it, and this will be the sleeper match, or it's like the dark horse match. You're not. Everyone's like, oh, War Games or like Gunther, whatever. This match I think is gonna could possibly steal the show. But of course, it's hard to top a solid War Games when they pull one of those off. But yeah, Breaker walks out with champ. Oh, oh, oh.
2 breakers. Let's see, Ropes. Are you going to break the fucking tie?
Here's how I'm going to start. Braun Breaker is not taking a pin. If by some reason this match does not go his way. But the better thing to do here is to keep Braun Breaker going. Keep the title, keep building him up, keep elevating. He had a promo on Ludwig a couple of weeks ago that was perfection.
See, that's why I think he should lose the IC title, because then it would build Ludwig up, and then it would give him a reason eventually to go after Gunther too.
So I was going there with Ludwig. So if Kaiser for some reason walks out of there with the title and Gunter does not, ooh man, he's gonna start looking at Gunter down. I can see a story right there, looking at him down, like, you couldn't even keep your title. Now I'm champion. What are you? I can see something like that developing.
And not even that. It would mean more, because that's Gunther's title. He's the longest reigning IC champion. Now Kaiser, that story would write its fucking self. And you know what? I'd rather have that. So you know what? I'm changing my option. I want Kaiser to win. I want Kaiser to win.
The right thing to do is Braun Breaker to keep on going. However, you get a lot of stories.
And then you can get a 3-way with Braun Breaker, Kaiser, and Gunther.
Yeah. But then you bring in Gunter back down to the IC title, No,
because Gunther is always a main event caliber player now, the same way Damian Priest still is. So it's like Gunther just being a champion now, he could always, win Money in the Bank by a fluke or some shit. Or he can win the Royal Rumble if he drops the title now. You know what I mean? Because the Royal Rumble is in the air right now. And whoever wins the Royal Rumble is most likely challenging for the heavyweight championship. Not for Cody's title. Because Cody's either facing Randy, or that belt's going to be Rock and Roman, some way, shape, or form.
I do have Gunter in my top 3 winning the Rumble if he loses the title at Survivor
Series. If he loses the title, he's definitely winning the Rumble.
All right, let's go to our first women's War Games match.
All right.
Here we go.
Here's a hot take of me. This should have been a War Games match. This makes no sense. You have Judgment Day all of a sudden team with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, even though they were feuding about the last pay-per-view. Let's throw Candice LeRae in there. And now we got Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Bayley, and Io Sky, 5 women who they have no alliance to each other. In fact, Bianca can't stand Io and Bayley. Rhea doesn't like any of them. So why the hell are we doing this? And should Paul Levesque have just gone, you know what? No, we're not doing this. It's not a War Games match. It's not like last year. Just have a 5-on-5 elimination.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
I feel like people are forgetting how exciting the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match was, though. Like, it was a really good and exciting match. Don't get me wrong. War Games is more exciting than that. But
not when there's 2 of them. When there's 2 War Games, it's just watered down a little bit,
It's like having dinner before dinner.
Yeah. I think too, story-wise, so they need a 5th man. So Io couldn't call any of her stable mates to come in and join them up. Like, it's this story where, I get why Io's in it. She's like the best women's wrestler on earth right now. Is how I consider her, at the physical aspect of pro wrestling. I think she's the best right now alive.
She's an in-ring magician, and Chris thinks that I say that because he hits me with she doesn't speak English well. It doesn't matter. She's great.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I like the physicality aspect. I think Io is which encompasses the psychology, selling, all of that stuff. But the in-ring, her mannerisms, the way she carries herself to the ring, all of that sort of stuff. I think she's, you could argue, the best in the world physically all around. Obviously not on the stick or whatever, but if we all spoke Japanese, we would all, I bet she's a 10 out of 10 too. I don't know, right? But all I'm saying is this, man. it seems very thrown together. That's when you just go traditional 5-on-5. If there was real heat, okay. Like, I'm okay if, it's a traditional 5-on-5 thrown together and Liv's got a team with Nia, even though they were feuding. Even though that wasn't even like a real feud either. It was like, okay, we got to fight for this super belt, but we really don't hate each other, you know? So I get that. You could argue that, but that's exactly why you don't do it in a War Games. You just do traditional 5-on-5 and oh God, it would do so because like what? Or do we just get rid of the traditional 5-on-5 now? Like is it just gone forever? I don't want that either. So yeah, they should. That's one criticism that I agree with. And the masses, so Triple H, I know you're listening. No, but they definitely need to fix that for next year.
Here's
And
what I'll
no,
tell
go
you.
ahead, Ropes. Go ahead,
This
Ropes.
the minute they started to put this match live on TV, I was like, What are they doing?" Like obviously, like you said, we know why Io is there. But the first thing I said, wait a minute, Bianca doesn't like these people. Well, why are they there? She doesn't like Bailey. She doesn't like Damage Control. Why now? Some sort of
They
respect.
just jumped her out of Damage Control, bro. You know what I mean? So now she's
Yeah,
gonna team up with Io. So stupid. Sorry, Ropes. Go ahead.
no problem. And then just as they kept adding people to this, and I'm telling myself, well, where is Bailey? Shouldn't this be the path to showing Bianca, hey, I have really changed. I'll help you. Now she's gonna be in it, but it just came together, and also Liv Morgan and Nia Jax. You just were fighting each other a couple of weeks ago, and now you're together. Like you said, obviously they didn't actually have a feud. It was just for the Crown Jewel Championship, but still, these people were just in a ring
Yeah.
together, and now they're happily teaming up. Not even back in the day when the invasion angle was going on. The Undertaker didn't even want to be with the team. He just he just wanted to be by himself, and they're not even showing anything like this among these women. It's just I don't get it. For me, it's just thrown there, like you said. It should have been 5-on-5 elimination match and call it a day, not a wars game. Hopefully, they listen and they get the idea. But for me, I'm just gonna watch it just because. But probably Rhea is pinning Liv Morgan.
All right, so this is the real reason Chris brought me here. This is the real main event here, motherfucker. So listen up and listen closely, okay? I agree with everyone to the fact that this should have been a 5-on-5 Survivor Series traditional match. This has no deal being a War Games match, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think it's safe trying to stick 9 women in there with the fridge in a fucking cage. It's not going to work. It's not going to be safe. They're all going to try to do shit with furniture, and there's already a fridge in there, so you're adding more furniture to furniture. And it's the best type of match to put Nia Jax in. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's the best way to not accentuate all her weaknesses, to where she could just go in, do her big spots, then have everyone jump her and knock down the fridge. And it's, like I said, I'm not looking forward to it because I already know what it's going to be. It's going to be Io doing high spots, Io being the star pretty much of the show, Bianca doing her shit, Rhea coming in being a monster and dominating everyone at some point, Liv somehow fucking her and getting a win. Rhea's team's not winning. I don't see Rhea's team winning this match because they're too ragtag thrown together. At least Liv has her big bodyguard to protect her and a fridge.
But they might just because Rhea is in that team, they might win it.
Listen,
Because.
Rhea may be strong, but that bitch ain't fridge strong. Okay,
They're
losing.
She can throw furniture around.
She can't throw a full appliance around by her fucking self. Come on, that's why she's married to Buddy Murphy.
Oh man.
All right. So Phil, I'm putting you on the spot. How do you book this? Because there's so many options. It could be the baby faces win after Tiffany Stratton accidentally knocks down somebody, and we could see Tiffany Stratton cash in on either Nia Jax. Hell, she could cash in on Liv Morgan, and we could start that chase. Do we go full nuclear? Do we have Bianca Belair turn heel? We've been calling for it. The fans want it. Even she wants it. Does she screw her teammates in the last minute? Blast Bailey and Io Sky walk out of the cage. And we get the heel turn, especially
and then she turns
now.
out, yeah, I did it. I slammed that bitch, Jade. And you know what? It is open mic night now, bitch.
Because Jay's out now for at least 3 months, probably 4. So that ship has sailed. She's not coming back for WrestleMania. So
Right. I think she's filming something too. I don't think she's really hurt, but I could be totally wrong about that. But
no, she is hurt. They've confirmed. Yes, it is.
is it? Well, who confirmed it? Sorry,
WWE has confirmed it, but it is. She will be out for at least 3
But
months.
wait though. WWE said she had like 10 different injuries, bro. You can't believe that. She doesn't have.
Yes, I know that, but they
torn
basically
ACL.
leaked it out. It's like it's a neck injury. They're just
So like it's a
everything
shoot
else.
neck injury, but then they just said it was like a torn PCL, face lacerations, and
Yes.
this and that. Okay, all right, okay. So I'll take your word for that. Then, okay, she has a neck injury. Get that taken care of. I wish her a speedy recovery. I had thought she was taking 3 months off to go film something, but never mind.
I thought they were just writing her off for the Rumble and having her come back in the Rumble for some big spot. That's what I thought.
Could make sense. But what were you asking me though, Chris? Like, what do they do with the finish?
Yes, is it the baby faces win, and we have all of a sudden
I think
Tiffany cash in
right
or turn Bianca heel, which we want.
Right. I could see the heels all turning on each other, getting mad, and then maybe a Tiffy cash in. Also, there's a mystery person. Or no, that's Bailey. We've confirmed that. Now, some people were saying, because for January 1st, they want Becky Lynch or Charlotte. So some people are like, like at the end of the women's war games, we'll get a return like we did at the end of the men's one last year, whatever. That's all Mark's fantasy booking. I think the heels bicker with each other in some way, and maybe we get an attempted cash in by Tiffy or something like that, but the baby faces scrape out the win. That's my prediction for the women's war games.
No, you can't believe that story. It's using Meltzer and Alvarez as a fucking source. Okay,
Well, I'm not using that. I'm using PW Insider, which they're a little more realistic.
Credible. Definitely not fucking credible
whatsoever. Yeah,
PWI
is more credible, even though they blocked me for making a joke. The fuck? But yeah,
welcome to people being oversensitive on social media for no fucking reason. Literally, you want to hear a funny story, Phil? Fucking bald FTR blocked me because
I know, me too, and I've never said a bad word about him ever.
Literally, I wasn't even saying a bad word about him. All I said was your boss needs to learn how to book fucking tag teams and stop booking you guys like shit. I want to see you guys on TV doing what you do best.
Now,
and he blocked me.
I know, bro. It happens. I love Danhausen too. I was just defending him over on my show, and he blocked me too, just for saying God bless him and his family, because I read like a story that I guess was fake, but I reacted to it. Not even on my show or anything, and he blocked me. But I got no ill will, man. It's just some people catch them on a bad day. But PWI, they're probably the most accurate dirt sheet. But if they're citing Meltzer and shit, that's not credible. I agree with DJ there. You guys already know Flute's in the chat. I'd be roasting Meltzer.
Chat. I was just
dude.
I was gonna do it for
Meltzer
you.
like nobody's business. So. The burial of Dave Meltzer and the burial of Fightful. Go and check those out on my YouTube channel. But so Chris, are you looking up thirst traps? Or are you trying to find out?
So I'm trying to find out what exactly is going on. But I'm gonna go back.
I think it's fake, bro. See, this is what I mean. There's no real thing, and I heard she's filming a movie or a TV show, and she's gonna be gone for 3 months. But that is, I'm not even a dirt sheet guy. I'm not like, here's some news.
And
that's just what I've seen floating around.
3 months, Phil. I just want to remind you what happens in 3 months.
Right, the Rumble.
So she'll be back for that. She's gonna come back for the Rumble for whoever attacked her. They're gonna start that business there in the Rumble match. Like I said, it's either gonna be Naomi doing a heel turn or they're teasing the Bianca heel turn. So I'm hoping Bianca does the heel turn. I'm really hoping Bianca, but Naomi would be different and interesting. Let's have a female bloodline with Naomi. I'm with it.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Let's go. Well, I'm all about the bloodline expansion.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I mean, because it could have happened a while back. I mean,
listen, Tom Evans, Ava Rain, Nia Jax, Trinity Fatu.
No,
fuck you,
no fridge. No fridge. Take out the fridge and we're good. You had me.
She is part of the bloodline.
Jax. Yeah, unfortunately. She is part of the bloodline, so unfortunately,
she is though. She's got to be there, dude. Fridge
or
not.
It's not happening.
I'll trade Nia Jax for Tamina.
They'll both be there.
we haven't seen it yet, and I don't think Paul Heyman's letting any female wrestlers involved in the bloodline. It's like, okay, this is just for select amount of people. Everybody else, just stay out of the
Do
way.
any
LA
of you
Knight,
guys think
stay
Paul
out of the
Heyman
way.
would work with the fridge? Fuck no. He's already plump enough for the bloodline. You think he wants anyone blocking out his sunlight?
Damn.
This is what I work with here.
Here we go. Here we go.
So who gets to win, Ben? So who gets to win a women's war games? I want picks from all three of you. We'll start with
the
Ropes.
heels.
The baby faces are winning because
Babyface, yeah.
the heels are winning the men.
Well, I guess I'm the fucking oddball because I'm saying the heels because A, who's gonna move the fridge, and B, this babyface team is too ragtag thrown together. They're just waiting to blow up at some point.
Look, Nia Jax is gonna get the Big Show treatment. Today he's gonna look strong for a minute, and then everybody's gonna get on her, and then she's gonna be out. The babyfaces are gonna win it because the men's war game, the heels are going all the way.
When you said Big Show treatment, I thought you meant get sent back down to developmental and told to lose a cup. Never mind, guys. You're gonna get me in trouble this show.
They
all
would
right?
never do it to her.
He should
They
get the
would
Big
never.
Show treatment, Phil. Shit, you were preaching to the fucking choir for a second.
Yeah.
That's the
Should,
exact
but they won't do
treatment
it.
that you get.
Can you
No, I'm an
imagine?
asshole. I'm sorry. I mean,
Can you imagine?
Nia Jackson NXT just squeezing bitches. Yeah, I'm with it.
Oh my god.
Let her bonsai drop Jada Parker or something.
I'll fucking let Jada Parker bonsai drop me, dude.
Ropes wants to get
Any-
bonsai by Nikita.
All right, so before we get canceled for numerous I guess, like, sexual harassment claims,
It's too late now.
you know, hate crimes, or other things, DJ has well,
Just don't like
unhealthy-
appliances, Chris. That's it. Okay.
Look, I'll
it's
say
an
this.
unhealthy relationship here. So let's move on to the War Games match. This is a coup d'etat. This is a Thanksgiving turkey. This is what we all came for. It's Roman, Uso, Sami Zayn, and now CM Punk versus Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, the Tongans, and Bronson Reed. I think we can all agree CM Punk was the right choice. I know there's something like, oh yeah, bring in Brock Lesnar. No, he's been on the suspended list. They've locked him up somewhere for reasons. Well, I'm not going to further, but reasons. So is it safe to say CM Punk was the correct choice?
Yes. I'll tell you why.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
So Ropes, the floor is yours.
when they were looking for that fifth member, there was a comment there where they made, we were running around this whole years, beating everybody. Nobody wants to help. Who wasn't there during that time? CM Punk.
Yeah.
So if somebody is going to go ahead and team up that makes sense because he has no beef right now, he didn't do anything to him, it's CM Punk. Plus, and then you add the connection with Paul Heyman. That's perfect. And then you add more drama on top of it. And now that opens more. It's a third layer there because now Seth Rollins is looking at this like, I didn't want to do it, but now they got Punk in there. Man, fuck that. I should have been in there. And he's probably going to go crazy about that in the storyline. So
Yeah.
those are my three reasons why I believe Punk was the correct one, even though the whole time when I saw Paul Heyman, I was like, it's going to be Punk, but I wouldn't mind Brock. But hey, I'm still happy.
So
And why are they fucking up? Sorry, real quick. Why are they fucking up on Wikipedia here? The Bloodline, and then they have Bronson Reed separate. No, dude, he's the Floodline. By the way, the faux Bloodline. He's in the Floodline. Bronson Reed's in that shit. He assumes position. He throws the fucking one up with them. It's not like Punk was throwing the one up with Roman, bro. He was doing his go to sleep little hand gesture there. He's not throwing the one up. He's not in the Bloodline. The fucking Bronson Reed is in the Floodline, son. Get it right, Wikipedia. He's in the faction itself moving forward, even after this War Games.
I dare you to fix it.
Fuck that. I don't even know how to do that, but
I got a quick question
I guess
for the floor real quick. Do you think this War Games match is gonna lead to a Punk Roman program directly after?
Not directly after, but down the line, they teased it already. It's something that is bound to happen again. Roman is like a tweener, too. He's not kissing babies and hugging kids and signing sneakers and shit. He's slowly going more like a baby face, but he's like full on baby face, and he is the baby face in the story. He is a good guy, but at least in this story. But as far as like, again, 4 years of like tyranny, it's not like he automatically gets a pass. So there's going to be some redeeming factors. We've seen a little bit of that with Sammy, but I don't think we get Roman Punk right after this. I think we're more headed towards like Punk and Rollins maybe having a nice long program like Punk did with Drew that culminates at WrestleMania, like maybe the third match or something between or the third or like the first big encounter. You got to think like Rollins and Punk in the Rumble will probably encounter each other and things like that. So you want to build to that at this Mania, and I feel like Punk Roman is like a night 1 or 2 of Mania or SummerSlam match, So you don't do it quite yet, but soon come.
All right, so let's just first start off the question here. Where does Seth Rollins fit into all this? Because he was one who's like, I will never team up with that tyrant. So all of a sudden now Punk is taking his place. He's saving everything. Should we expect Rollins to get involved in this somehow? Should we expect either a confrontation, not even a physical altercation, but just something where he goes to Punk and go, really? Really? Because it seems like this should start with like, okay, Rollins starts going, yeah, I told everybody here, this son of a, bleepity bleep cannot, stay out of my business. He's in my business again.
And it's
I
beyond
think that's
that
more
too.
of
Go
a
ahead,
Monday
DeeJay.
night after Raw type of deal. I think they're going to draw that issue out after the War Games match, ergo why I think the baby faces are winning it, because it's going to give Seth Rollins more of an issue. How dare you help that piece of shit, Roman?
Right.
How dare you help that tyrant who held us all down for years? It's going to add on. It adds on more to their issue with Punk helps Roman beat Solo's Floodline, Mudline, whatever we want to call it, baby bloodline.
Yeah. I could see Seth getting involved as well as like he climbs the cage or something. He gets in there and starts attacking fucking Bronson, right? And then that's when Punk's like, dude, what are you doing? And then they have a face off or something like that, right? Because Seth is going to want to get his back on Bronson Reed for like taking him out. And
they're wrestling on Monday.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I thought they were wrestling the Monday after.
The Monday after Survivor Series. I had no idea. So thank you for that. So then
Adam Pearce booked the rematch.
If he did do that, then never mind what I just said, and we'll see it play out on Raw. However, if that isn't the case, but I'll take your word for it that it is. If that isn't the case, though, then what I'm saying, I'm just trying to say, because you asked, will Seth get involved? That's the only way I see it going down. To be honest, I don't see anyone getting involved or any big returns or debuts or re-debuts or anything like that, unless it's like if any shenanigans goes down, I could see Paul Heyman doing something sketchy maybe in the match.
Exactly.
But yeah, that would be the extent of it. I don't see like a wild Seth showing up or a wild Randy Orton or someone who could debut. Like they already did that last year. Just let them have their War Games and then we'll see what happens. But I could see the heels winning because of Paul Heyman, though, just to jump ahead, I guess, and give him my pick. But again, though, do you want Punk to get another loss? I guess he came off that big program with Drew. Do you want Reigns and these guys to lose after they just told the story of like, we're united and now we're full force and we have a fifth man and nothing can stop us? The only way they lose and it makes sense, the babyfaces lose and it makes sense to me, is if Paul does like a double bluff and turns on him. But I don't know if they do that. But yeah, that's my prediction for it. I guess if I had to put money on it, I'm saying the heels walk out the victors in the men's War Game.
And the only way I see Paul doing like some type of turn is if he's like trying to protect Punk and goes like, Punk, get out of here. We're going. This isn't, you know what I mean? Switches his allegiance fully to Punk and shows that he's no longer fully Roman's wise man no more. He was just trying to return the favor. But I also think WWE has done a great job in establishing that Roman Reigns is the one guy Paul Heyman will not turn on.
So here's the $1 million question we're all wondering, because I think this is the one you could book. Okay, it's Roman, the Usos, Sammy, and Punk winning. Do we get the Rock appearance? because everybody keeps saying that the Rock, we're getting Rock and Roman at this WrestleMania. That this is going to be, the end game, the final boss. So does The Rock show up? He doesn't have to get physical, but he can just announce that it was his idea, that this is, Solo, you failed me, so I'm taking over. I am the head of the bloodline. I am, the final boss.
Well,
So
Chris,
throwing a challenge down.
Chris, what is he filming right now? You'd probably know. What is he filming?
He's now. They wrapped up finally the live action Moana. They're doing
so they wrapped.
January. They start doing the Paramount's own Fast and Furious. That's why Rock is going, yes, you can sing it wicked. It's okay. No, you can't, Rock. Shut the hell up. When I want to go to a movie theater, I don't want sing-alongs.
Yeah. True that. But here's the thing, right? They just wrapped Moana, and even if they start filming fast, where are they filming that? I'm willing to bet money they are filming all his shit in Vancouver, probably. And I'm not joking. So there you go. Even if they start filming that, but if they wrapped Moana, then yeah, I could totally see him just appearing again and then seeing where he actually aligns. Or maybe the show ends where it's like him and Heyman creeping off together, like Rock and Heyman or something. Who knows? But I could totally see like the end of the War Games match. Everyone's kind of confused. And then we see like, okay, the Bloodline assumes position with The Rock, or like Heyman creeps off with The Rock, or whatever. I could see something like that. But again, they did that last year, man. I think they just end War Games with a heel victory and they just end it. And then we do the Rock return and all that at the next time. They don't need to do it yet. You know what I mean? But I
agree. I think it's too early for The Rock to return again, especially when he returned and then did nothing immediately after.
Yeah, we don't need that again.
We don't need it again. So, I feel like if he returns, if he's returning, he's fully here and he's doing something right after, to where it's not just a tease.
If he returns, he needs to stay. He cannot just show up. That's one of the things that I have happening since months ago. The Rock somehow finally showing Roman Reigns who the boss really is. The other thing that I had happening as of late is something Seth Rollins. He hates 3 people inside that cage easily. CM Punk, Roman, and Bronson. So maybe that's enough motivation to get involved. And obviously the other one is something with Paul Heyman. Something along those lines is gonna go down. And all 3 of them point to the heels winning. There's nothing right now that the baby faces are giving me for them to win. If anything, I think they get more story from losing than winning. And he allows the heels to keep growing.
I agree with that.
I'm just going to throw this off here. I'm calling you guys all out. First of all, you're phonies.
What I say? Wait, hold on. I said the Bloodline should win.
Let me finish. You're saying, oh, yeah, the Rock doesn't need to come back. He doesn't need to come back. It doesn't matter what you people think. You're the degenerates. You will watch this no matter what. They could have Jim Cornette versus Vince Russo at WrestleMania, and you go, yep, we're still watching it. This is about This is about getting the mainstream people. This is like it's for Taylor Swift NFL. We already have you degenerates go watch football. We know that. We want more people. Rock coming in gets more people.
That's why you saved that for the Netflix debut. But I'm calling you out, Chris. I'm calling you out, Chris. Tonga Twins debut to save Nia in the Women's War Game.
That's not happening.
Look that shit.
Because unfortunately, TJ's going to go, no, you are not getting near her. She is my only hatred. I don't want the Tonga Twins infected with my hatred for Nia.
I just don't want
Twins
them to get
debuting,
hurt.
helping the Bloodline. Let's go. Book that
if
shit,
anything,
Trips.
I just don't want the Tonga Twins to get hurt. That fridges are fucking heavy. You know what I mean? If one of them falls on you, you break an arm, a leg, lose a spleen.
You need therapy on this hatred.
It's
gone beyond like hatred.
It's a serious epidemic. Okay,
I think even Ropes said you need mental therapy, shock therapy. You gotta let it go. It's Thanksgiving. Let's let it go. We're supposed to be like nicer to people. Not as nice as Christmas. Nice. Just let it go. Let it go. Let the hatred go.
Does Phil know that we spent about 2 hours speaking about Nia Jax a couple of days ago?
Oh my fucking god!
Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that. But
Oh,
when
yes,
you say fridge and we're talking about Nia Jax.
I have said that at some point in the future,
It's not hard to put
Nia
it
Jax
together.
has to come and be part of this some sort of way because that's the character that we have dedicated the most time to.
No, I've dedicated a fair amount of time to Moxley, Meltzer, and Tony's shitty booking.
2 hours
Oh.
straight? I don't know about all that.
I could do 2 hours straight on it. It's just Chris won't let me.
Because it's a personal hatred. I mean, this makes the Bloodline, storyline hatred pale in comparison.
Do you remember my reactions to the Ospreay Fletcher match?
I do, but that passes. This is just every time I mention those two words, Nia Jax, it's just you're like a dog and a steak and go. Roo! So yes, you gotta let it go. It's Thanksgiving. I know Phil's Canadian, but we might not celebrate. Everybody else here, just let it go. Be thankful. It's War Games here. So before I have to let everybody go here, final thoughts. Give me all your predictions. We'll start with you, Ropes, and go with you, DJ and Phil. You get to close the show here.
LA Knight, Braun Breaker, baby faces for the women's war games. Gunter, unfortunately, and the heels for the men's war game.
All right. I got LA Knight, Braun Breaker, heels for the women, Gunther, and baby faces for the men's war game.
I got LA Knight, I got Breaker, I got the baby face women's, I got Gunta, and I got the Bloodline winning in the main event.
So Phil, when I'm right, I deserve to get one special guest host spot on your show because I'm going to be completely right about this. I'm telling you, there's no.
Well, even if you're wrong, man, we'll you Rock and Ropes should come. Yeah, get down on PWT sometime soon. And
I am always down.
Appreciate it.
I stop by on the Saturdays, especially when the flutes are playing. Okay.
Yeah,
when I know those flutes are playing, I stop by.
Yeah, we'll do like a normal podcast or whatever, and then you guys come to the live show sometime too.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I always love having it on the show. It's the TNA Turning Point Survivor Series preview. I give you once again from the Wrestling Ropes, it's DJ and Mr. Ropes, and from Pro Wrestle Times, I give you Phil Marks. So, Phil, we'll start off with you. Where can fans check you out at? Where's the YouTube channel, X, Instagram, the website? Where can fans check out Pro Wrestle Times?
So I'm at Pro Wrestle Times everywhere on social media, but most importantly, youtube.com/at Pro Wrestle Clips. I go live every Wednesday night and Saturday night. I go live like every Tuesday day as well. It seems like with a run-in, but the live show is every Wednesday and every Saturday. And then of course I drop like a podcast or two a week if I can. I just did one with Travis Heckle, the artist for Jim Cornette's podcast. He does all their thumbnails, and we made fun of Dave Meltzer and geeked out, and he pulled the curtain back a little bit on how, Jim Cornette and Brian Last operate there. So go check that out if you haven't. Today, before I jumped on this show, I did a 2-hour-long burial of Fightful. So go and check that out. Compelling stuff. It gets dark. It's kind of... it's sickos down with the sickness, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyways, though, guys, youtube.com/at Pro Wrestle Clips, and then patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. And there's hours of exclusive stuff on Patreon as well that you won't find. Like I'm watching Tough Enough Season 1 with all Jake, react to every Botchamania, watch the Ric Flair roast, those sorts of things. So yeah, thanks for having me again. I'm thankful for Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for you guys, especially you, Chris.
Phil, always a pleasure. Ropes, DJ, where can they check out you guys? Where's your X, your Instagram, the YouTube channel? Where can fans hear your shows at?
Well, follow me on X at cornyfan8876. Usually I host the Rock and Rope Spaces every Friday and Sunday usually. A lot of people come in. You'll never know who stops by, and always come with wrestling opinions. We allow them all, even the stupid ones sometimes.
You can find me on X at Wrestling Ropes with no G. Wrestling Ropes, always live when DJ, weekly.
And shout out to our co-host John, who's not here, but one of the funniest, realest, smartest guys in the IWC. We love him.
Phil Marks, it's DJ. It's Ropes of Wrestle Ropes. Always a pleasure having you guys on the show. We come back, a lot more going on here. Only on it is Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol, only on the Last Call YouTube channel.